Hello and welcome to this video tech tip. I'm Scott Craner with Imaginet Technologies. In this session, we're going to look at the traverse adjustment or balance tool available within Civil 3D. We're currently in Civil 3D 2020. To open the traverse adjustment dialog, from the Home tab of the ribbon, go to the Create Ground Data panel, then the Traverse pull down. Left click and note the two options available. We've discussed the Traverse Editor in a previous video tech tip. For more information on this tool, please refer to that video. We can open the Traverse Adjustment dialog by selecting the second option in the pull-down. Once the dialog opens, under Traverse Source, we can select the Select button and navigate to TRV2 Traverse file that we want to open. We can also open the Traverse Adjustment tool through the Traverse Editor. With the Traverse Editor tool open, we can open a file. Once the tool is populated with our traverse, we can go to the Load Balance tool icon in the toolbar. It prompts us to save the file. If we hadn't saved it, we could save here. Since we've saved this previously, I'm going to select Cancel. And the traverse opens in the Traverse Adjustment dialog. Let's take a quick look at the traverse we'll be adjusting. It is a simple closed traverse made up of lines and arcs proceeding from the lower right-hand corner around counterclockwise and back, intended to close on the point of beginning. If we zoom in, we can see point number 1, the point of beginning, and point number 12, the actual end point, and you can see the distance between those 2 points, which is the closure error. I'm going to reopen the Traverse Adjustment dialog and cover some of the settings. In the Traverse area, we've already discussed the Traverse Source, where you can select the file of the traverse that you're going to adjust. We have a place to enter the start point, the end point, and the intended endpoint or point of closure. In this case, since we were starting and attempting to end on the same point, this is fairly typical. Start point, the actual end point, and the intended endpoint. If you were adjusting a traverse where you had additional points that you were using either to develop points in the traverse or to provide backsights or foresights for directions used in the traverse, you might want to start and end these points on other points than the first and last points in your list. That's what they default to here. You could set those by selecting the ellipses and setting them to your actual start and end points that you intend for your adjustment and to your point of closure. The angular balance is set here. This performs a separate balance of all of the angles in the traverse in advance of any other adjustment method performed. With the start and end point being the same, there's no need to set an observed direction or a closure direction. However, if you were starting and ending on separate known points, you would have to have a basis for the final observed direction and the closure direction as a basis to perform this angular balance. For now, I'm going to unselect this, and we're going to come down to the closure summary, and I'm going to expand this so we can see all of the values. Under the name column, you have the input, which is your current unadjusted traverse. You have the different methods for adjustment that are currently selected in your settings. We'll get to that in settings in a few moments. You have the precision, which is the perimeter divided by the error distance. Notice that the precision is separated into two values. On the left, you've got a value that is based on the arcs in the traverse being replaced by line segments, and we'll discuss that a little later too. On the right, that is the same value when the arcs are used for the calculation. Next, you have error distance, error direction, angular misclosure, area. Notice again with area, you've got a separation here in two different values. Again, the left value is with the arcs replaced by line segments, and the value on the right is with the arcs used in the calculation, and the same for the perimeter. Now, if we look at the next section in the traverse adjustment dialog, we have available adjustment methods, and what you have here is each side and then a listing of each method and each point, occupied point, ending point, northing, easting, bearing, distance, delta x, delta y, delta angle, delta distance. Let me expand this a little more. For every leg in your traverse, you can scroll down and take a look at all of this information and compare your inputs with each adjustment method. Next, let's look at settings. We've got compass, transit, Crandall adjustment methods. You might be asking, how do you change or remove some of these? In settings, it opens up a dialog box. These are the different methods available. You've got the compass method, transit method, Crandall method. Grant line is selected off right now. It is not really an adjustment that's used on a closed traverse. It's not used for that purpose, so it's been deselected. But if I wanted to change, for instance, and just look at compass method, I could unselect these, click OK, and it would only show the compass method. So I can select which methods I want to see in the settings. I can also select how I want to replace curves, the adjust curves section down here. This across chords puts one line segment along the chord of the arc. So let's leave that set, and let's close this up, and let's take a look at that if I can. Let me zoom into one of these. See how this chord is used here to connect the endpoints of the arc. If I come back down to settings, and I'll leave that visible so we can see the change, and change this to at PI, and leave this extend tangents to PI, notice how things change. And let me zoom this out a little bit. What that did is, instead of connecting this arc with a chord, it extended these tangents to a PI. If I come back into settings and I uncheck this extend tangents to PI, notice what this does. Now, instead of just extending those lines, it breaks them, and you have two lines here. You've got the tangent line and the line between the arc endpoint and the PI, and going out of it the same, from the PI to the endpoint, and then the next tangent line. So those are the three different methods of replacing arcs for calculations. You can't adjust an arc, so they replace it with line segments, and that's how you control how those line segments are set. I'm going to set it back to our cross chord. Notice also you can select for each method a color here. I'm going to leave this set to compass method and leave this light blue set here. Click OK. Now let's zoom in and see if we can see. There we can. Here you can actually see, and since it's kind of close, the lines are sometimes pretty close together, but you can see the actual initial input traverse and the blue adjusted line. And it's usually easy to see these towards the end of your traverse where most of the error kind of comes together in enough quantity that you can see a difference between them. If I change this setting and added the transit and Crandall methods back in and click OK, then I could switch between which adjustment to apply. For instance, I could select the transit, and then if I come down and zoom in, I can see that method is being used, and I can kind of compare the lines and kind of graphically inspect the adjustment method and how it's going to look compared to the existing method. If I wanted to select the Crandall, then it changes to that color. And you can set those colors in your settings to be a value that you choose. Again, let me open the settings and show you that you can set these colors right in here. I also want to show you that help is available at 2 levels in the Traverse Adjustment dialog. Out here, by selecting help, you get general help information that relates to the Traverse Adjustment dialog in general. If I select inside settings, I get help that is a little more specific to the adjustment methods and the replacement of arcs with lines. To generate a report, I simply select the Generate Report button. It gives me 2 options: current adjustment to apply and all displayed adjustment methods. Let me take a moment to show you what that means. Currently, I have compass, transit, and Crandall methods shown in my Traverse Adjustment dialog. That's because I have them all checked in my settings. And in the adjustment to apply, I've got compass selected. So if I want to generate a report that includes all displayed adjustment methods, I can select that, save it to a file named all, and open that for you to take a look at. We've got typical kind of boilerplate heading, a closure summary with the input, compass, transit, and Crandall methods, and then this adjustment statistics with inputs, compass, transit, and Crandall methods for every side of the traverse. And at the bottom, we have a diagram of the adjusted traverse. Next, I'll generate a report of the current adjustment to apply, which is compass. I'm going to save that to compass. And open that. And you can see the difference. Typical, same boilerplate information, but the closure summary includes the input and compass adjustments only. The statistics are for the input and compass. And again, it has the adjusted traverse diagram at the bottom. When it's time to apply adjustments, simply select Apply Adjustment. It prompts you to save to a TRV2 file. Notice that the name is the current traverse file name with the dash and method of adjustment appended to the end. Once saved, I can always reopen the adjusted traverse in a new drawing for editor review. I hope you find this information helpful. Thank you for watching.